Hi, hello, and welcome to another session on data communications and networks. In this session, we'll see the transmission, control protocol, and the internet protocol. These are the important factors in accessing the internet. How they work, we will see in this session. So, let's get started. The TCP IP, which is the transmission control protocol and the internet protocol. It is a standard protocol which is used between the computers and network devices for communication. So these are the 3 points which we are going to see in this session: the TCP IP protocol suite, the comparison between OSI and TCP IP protocols, and the various layers in the TCP IP protocol. So in the previous videos we have seen about the OSI network model, which has 7 network layers. They are the physical layer, the data link layer, the network layer, the transport layer, the session layer, presentation layer, and the application layer. So if you see the TCP IP protocol, it has only 4 layers. So this TCP IP protocol, it is the language which is used to access the internet. Suppose we talk to each other. So we talk to each other in the language which we both understand. So the internet also uses the TCP IP language, and this whole process is known as the TCP IP protocol. And if there is no TCP IP, we cannot access the internet. TCP is the data access to the internet. We'll see one example. Suppose you are accessing the internet and you want to open the Google. So you send a request to the server. Your data is sent to the server, and from the server you receive the data, and then you will be able to access google.com. Here what does this TCP IP do? It divides the data into small parts known as the packets. The TCP sends these packets to the server. The TCP also communicates with the server. The data is sent to the server and the server receives the data. Then the server will respond and the Google page is opened. The TCP which is present at our end receives the data in the form of packets. It joins the packets and shows it to us. The internet protocol, the IP, it ensures that the data is sent to the server, and the IP also controls the sending and the receiving. So what does this IP do? It uses the server IP address to send the data and receive the data to our IP address. So then whatever page we are accessing, that page will be opened. So we'll see another example. This TCP is just like a delivery boy with the data in the form of the packets, and the IP is the address where the data is to be sent and the address to where the data is to be received. So the request is sent to the server and the server responds. The requested web page will be opened. Okay, so here the TCP is sending the data in the form of packets, and the IP is this IP address where the data is to be sent. So here we have 2 IP addresses. One is the IP address of the sender and the IP address of the receiver. So these are the 4 layers in the TCP IP protocol. The first one is the link layer, second is the network layer, third is the transport layer, and the fourth is the application layer. So we'll see the comparison between OSI and the TCP IP protocol. So as we have already seen, the OSI model, it consists of 7 layers. So these are all the 7 layers. When compared to this OSI, the TCP IP, it has only 4 layers. So the upper 3 layers, that is application layer, the presentation layer, and the session layer, all these three layers are combined to form an application layer in TCP/IP. The transport layer in OSI is the same transport layer in TCP/IP. The network layer is also the same network layer in TCP/IP, whereas the first and the second layers, that is the physical layer and the data link layer, they both are combined to form the data link layer, or it is also known as the network access layer. So in some of the books we see 5 layers and in some we see only 4 layers. Both are the same and their working is also the same as in the OSI model. So in TCP/IP protocol, it has two important features. One is the end node verification and the second is the dynamic routing. So end node verification means only the IP address of the sender and the IP address of the receiver needs to be known. So the intermediate layers, that is all the routers which are present in between, those addresses need not be known in TCP/IP protocol. So if we know only the address of the sender and the address of the receiver, that is sufficient in TCP/IP protocol. So this is known as end node verification. So the second most important feature is the dynamic routing. So in the dynamic routing means the data can be transferred over multiple paths over the internet. So the network, it chooses the best path for the data transfer out of these multiple paths. That is known as dynamic routing. So these are the two important features in TCP/IP protocol. Then we'll see the various layers. So we have the application layer. This application layer is directly connected to the users. So example of application layer is Gmail or Facebook. So for the application layer, the protocols used are HTTP, DNS, DHCP, FTP, TFTP, SMTP and SNMP. So these are all the protocols in the application layer. Then coming to the transport layer. So the transport layer uses two protocols. One is the TCP and the second one is the UDP. So in TCP protocol, if while transferring the data, if any packet is dropped due to some delay or some error in the end transmission, that packet will be retransmitted. So this retransmission will be ensured by the TCP protocol. When compared to UDP, the TCP protocol is very slow. The TCP is also connection oriented. That means any packet which is dropped will be retransmitted. So the data may be transmitted after some time delay, after few seconds, few minutes, or even some days. Whenever, whatever it may be, the data will be transmitted, which is not dependent upon the time. So this is the feature of the TCP protocol. Then coming to the UDP protocol, this is used to access real-time data like video calling and voice calling. This is not connection-oriented protocol and there is no retransmission also. For example, if you are talking to your friend over the internet and somewhere there is a break in the voice, then your friend will not be able to hear your voice again. Whatever the voice was broken, the same message will not go to your friend. So whenever the connection is re-established, from then only the other person will be able to hear your voice. So real-time data like video calling and voice calling, this is transferred by using the UDP protocol. So under this transport layer, we have two protocols. One is the TCP protocol, the second one is the UDP protocol. Then we have the internet layer, which is the network layer. So this works on the internet protocol. So here the IP addresses of the sender and the receivers are to be known. That is only sufficient. So by use of dynamic routing, the data can be transferred from the sender to the receiver, and the best route from the sender to the receiver is determined by this internet protocol. So the working of this is the same as the network layer in OSI model, and the IP, that is the internet protocol, is also a connection oriented protocol. That means whichever data or whichever packets are dropped in between, they will be retransmitted. Next, coming to the link layer. So here this is a combination of the physical and the data link layer in the OSI model. Here the frames are made and the data is converted into bits, that is into ones and zeros, and then it is transmitted. So these are all the layers in the TCP/IP protocol. That's it. Thank you.